Good morning. Does anybody else run into a problem with Windows 11 where your Bluetooth just disappears? Um, I ran into this problem yesterday where the Bluetooth connection on the desktop just was turned off. It was like I went to connect headphones, Bluetooth headphones, and it was like, you know, can't find the Bluetooth um, application. You need to turn it on in Windows. I'm like, well, that's weird. So I went there to turn it on. And it's like there's no drivers. I'm like, what do you mean there's no drivers? So I went to Device Manager, where basically I did this and went down, right click, went up to Device Manager. And on this computer is not one it happened to. As you can see, Bluetooth right here. And this Intel right here, this wireless driver, now this one's working correctly. The one on my other desktop, which is hooked up to the TV, I don't have regular TV, I use a computer through it. And it was saying basically failed to boot, right? And so I updated the driver and still nothing, right? Still the operating system would fail to boot. I uninstalled it, went out to Intel, downloaded, the new drivers, installed the new drivers, still same problem, right? I reset that computer to out of box, right? Still same problem. Eventually, right, I checked all the updates from Windows, and eventually I updated it to the latest update, the 25H2, which here's a kind of a weird thing, right? I have my computers set to do not, right, automatically update from Microsoft. And somehow, right, the 24H2, which seemed to be causing a lot of problems all over the place, right, around the world, had somehow Microsoft managed to push that anyway to that computer. And I was scratching my head going, how did they pull that off? But it wasn't until I updated it to the 25H2 that boom, all of a sudden now everything's good. I ran into this the other day at a customer that I went out there. They had two computers that had updated to that particular 24H2 that was causing a lot of problems. And I went to go roll it back because it's a network environment, right? For some reason, those two workstations were set to automatically update from Microsoft. I'm like, oh no, right? That's not happening. So I did turn that off, but when I went to roll it back, Microsoft had deleted the files. There was no rolling it back, right? So I'm just going to have to live with it and deal with whatever issues come down the pipe. I probably need to do a little more digging and figure out how is it Microsoft is pushing updates, right, to desktops that you've told it not to do, okay? Not quite sure how that's working out just yet. It's why I tend to run on a local account. The particular computer that's hooked to my, TV in the living room is on a Microsoft account because it's one my wife uses. It's not one I use, right, for doing any kind of computing stuff. It's just basically a media server is all I'm using it for. And somehow, that one, I guess, through that Microsoft account, they just overrode and pushed it anyway. Microsoft's done some weird things in the last couple of years. If any of you guys noticed, like Windows Defender, we used to have a issue a few years ago where the computer would just be hung up and you would go check, right? You would pull up Task Manager like this, and when you would look at Task Manager and look at performance, right here it would be hung up running 100% on disk. Okay, so when we would look at these processes, it would be 100% on disk right here, and just would be locked down, and it would be Windows Defender, right? The anti-malware engine would be running, and we would just simply end the task, and that would stop the process, and everything would go back. You would watch it in real time, just realign itself and go back to operating normal. And then in Microsoft's infinite wisdom, they took that away from us, right? So if you try to do that now, you'll get a message that says you do not have permission to do this. Okay. So they've taken that away from us, where we can control, right, those processes. There are things that you do not have permission to mess with in a Windows operating system. That's strictly under Microsoft's purview, and it belongs to an ACL that's attached to the operating system. They want more and more control, okay, over what you do. Especially now, they're trying to push AI like Copilot and things on you, and in a network environment, that's not necessarily a great idea. Okay. AI is a wonderful tool and can help us to do a lot of things, but ultimately, as an admin, we need to have control of that network, not Microsoft. Okay. So I'm not real sure what their agenda is right now and why they're doing some of those things. Right? Why, of all things, right? The Bluetooth driver. Some update they did around that 24H2 basically did not recognize that driver, and it wasn't until you update to the 25H2 that it now says, okay, we're going to allow it to work. I can remember back, used to, right, like with Windows 7, we had media player and all of that, and then with Windows 10, they took that away from you. Even if you upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 10 back in the day, all of a sudden now your media player wasn't there. They wanted you to buy it. So there's a lot of things going on that I don't agree with. That's just kind of the world we live in today. So I'm going to post this video. You guys share your thoughts with me. I'd really like to know what kind of issues you're running into with Windows and these updates. Have any of you guys in your network environments run into the problems where it goes to reboot and now it won't boot because it says there's no drivers, period? That's been an issue out there too. I personally haven't run into that yet, but I definitely see it coming. Okay, so let me know what you guys think and what you've run into. Have a great day. Peace out.